Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Thursday morning to you from the Par-Mar Store studio. Welcome to the show. Hollywood Jeff Petty, our producer today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill GM Superstore. Chevy truck season is here. Ready for the truck that can handle any job? Get the 2024 Silverado, 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or a $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle now. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. See them for all details. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by thornhillgmsuperstore.com. We're on the road to total savings, US 119 in Chapmanville. And we do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Between now and Mother's Day, stop by your favorite Par-Mar store. Purchase a special Mother's Day flower from Par-Mar. All proceeds benefit the Children's Home Society of West Virginia. And again, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Locked and loaded this morning, and we're going to be that way as we get closer and closer to the election. Early voting underway, of course, in West Virginia started yesterday. I'll get into that a little bit later on. Plus, there are some big things going on in the area this weekend. A lot of the communities are having events for the 1st of May, well, the 4th of May, I guess, the whole Star Wars thing. Nitro is one of those. We're going to talk to some folks from Nitro coming up a little bit later on. And also, Alum Creek's got a big event going on Saturday. Plus, Bob Yeager, who's a candidate for mayor of the city of Dunbar, is going to join us as well. As always, your phone calls and texts are welcome. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. First up, he's a candidate for U.S. Senate on the Democratic ticket. That's right, I said on the Democrat side. Former Massey CEO Don Blankenship joins us now in the Par-Mar Store studio. Mr. Blankenship, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for being here. When you say the name Don Blankenship, all sorts of things come to mind, but probably, Don, the least of those is the word Democrat. So what's up with that?
Well, I think the Democrats need help. I mean, I was on the other side for a long time, and the Republicans have pretty well taken over West Virginia, and the crazies have taken over the Democratic Party, nationally in D.C. and so forth. I don't think West Virginians are typical San Francisco or D.C. Democrats, and hopefully they'll send me to D.C. to send a message that they're not for the things that the National Party represents.
I mean, you and I are from an area, Don, where almost everybody was a Democrat, regardless of whether you're conservative, liberal. Well, okay, let me back that up. There weren't a whole lot of liberals in Logan or Mingo County, but I mean, we were all pretty much Democrats at one point. Pretty much had to be if you wanted to vote for anybody in that part of the world at one time.
Yeah, it seems like I was the only Republican in Mingo County for a long time. And I think this year, I don't know if this is exactly true, but somebody told me there wasn't a single Democrat on the Mingo County ballot for county and city offices.
That's amazing. I mean, it really is.
It's just it's a sea change, and it shows, it's encouraging to me because it shows that major changes can happen. And we certainly need major changes in the country. And that's one of the reasons I'm running, is to bring attention to the fact that we're not as opposed to one another as the media tells us we are. West Virginians are not San Francisco Democrats. They're more like moderate Republicans in terms of the rest of the country.
So if you are elected Senate, you talked about kind of, bringing folks together. What are some of the major things you would like to accomplish for the state of West Virginia if you are elected to the Senate, Don?
Well, I know that we are all very concerned about losing our democracy, so it naturally makes sense that we need a fair election law. The fact that you can defame people, which happened to me the last time I ran, or the fact that the media can particularly the national media. You've got the liberal networks and the conservative network, and they beat the candidates up, or they make them look good or bad. We've got to do something about that. We've got to do something about who gets to vote. A lot of illegals do get to vote. But unless we make the democracy a true democracy and treat it as such, it can't last like it is.
And now you've been on the show several times. It's the first time I've actually had you here in person. But you feel, Don, that you were unfairly characterized in a lot of different ways. Talk about that.
Well, over the years, it's been interesting. Since I had the battles with mine workers in 1985. Which was basically caused by the fact that the Western coal was growing so fast it was driving the price down, and the companies had to either be tough or go out of business. All the other companies like Alum Creek and Piston and Westmoreland and the big names from that era in the coal industry went out of business, and Massey decided not to. But we made a big difference in West Virginia. We were, I had 10,000 people at our near our peak there, and we created a lot of jobs and made a big difference in the communities in southern West Virginia. But, along the way, the media, the far left, was very, very negative toward me and created an atmosphere where it was very difficult. And that stuck with me. I guess it sort of put me in a template for the last 30 years or so.
And you referenced the last time you ran for office being, as you said, defamed. In what way?
Well, it was interesting. Mitch McConnell was very much opposed to my candidacy because he knew I was very much opposed to our reliance on China. I was beginning to talk very openly about China, about his personal connections to China, about his family sitting on the boards of companies in China, including the shipbuilding company of China, which had as a mission statement having a better Navy than an American Navy. So when I began to say those things, he chose to be very negative toward me, and including he and President Trump calling Fox News and getting them to call me a convicted felon on the day of the election, which before that I was like 18 points up in the polls. But when you're running as a Republican and you got Fox, I guess about 7 or 8 different reporters repeating that untruth, it's just not possible to win.
And you are not a convicted felon.
Not a convicted felon. Actually, what I was, it sounds terrible when they say they convicted you of a conspiracy to commit mine safety violations, but the fact is they convicted me for not stopping the coal miners from telling each other that the inspectors had arrived, and I couldn't have kept them from telling each other that I had arrived, let alone that the government had arrived. It's just a normal practice in the coal fields, but they call that committing or conspiring to commit mine safety violations, which was never the case.
Talking with Don Blankenship again, who is a candidate for U.S. Senate. I have to ask you, Don, about the TV ads. Some have questioned them, like exactly what do you mean with some of the phrasing. You said in one, I didn't fall out of the bed and hang myself, or something to that effect. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, it's somewhat connected to what you just asked. I don't believe Epstein fell out of the bed and hung himself. I know that I didn't conspire to commit mine safety violations. I know that a lot of the stuff that's going on in the courts today are outrageous, and it's just making the point that you can't really believe what the media says about you. So asking people to make their own decision based on what they know, what they see, and people that know me personally, rather than depending on what they might hear in the media the next 10 days or so.
In the Democratic primary, you're going to be facing Wheeling Mayor Glenn Elliott. What makes you a better candidate than Glenn Elliott?
A different experience. I mean, whether you look at my personal life of going from poor to doing quite well, or the struggles I've had with every element of the government, whether it be the EPA or the struggles I've had with the mine workers, the struggles I've had with the business community and my own board. It's basically I think outside the box a lot, and I think the country needs a lot of thinking outside the box. And I think, although I don't know Mr. Elliott, that if you send anyone to D.C. as a Democrat other than me, you're just going to get someone that does what Schumer tells them to do.
Now, the winner of the race will go on, in all likelihood, to face Governor Jim Justice in the fall. Your thoughts on Governor Justice?
Well, my thought basically is that, as going back to what you said earlier, he's as good a governor as we've had in recent years. But we can do better. We can always do better. My focus is not on Jim per se, but it's on saving the country and making a difference in the country. I think people should vote for me to see Jim and I debate. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And it'll be interesting to I've got a dog that's bigger than his, and I think my ideas are bigger than his. So I hope that we can get together on the stage and show people what it's really all about.
I'm going to presume, Don, that you haven't seen a whole lot of support from the state Democratic Party in your chair. Mr. Pushkin, who's the state Democratic Party chair and delegate, is on the show frequently, and the party issued a press release basically distancing themselves from you, so probably not going to be getting a lot of support from the state Democratic Party.
Yeah, and I would hope not, because I wouldn't want to be associated with the policies that they have. There's a difference between being a member of a party and being a leader in the party, and I want to be a leader in the party and lead it back to sanity and getting it away from the transgender stuff and getting it away from, being in favor of anti-Israel protests and so forth. I want to get back to the West Virginia Democratic Party looking like West Virginians rather than looking like D.C. or San Francisco.
What is it that keeps Don Blankenship going? I mean, you've been in the public eye for a lot of years, well before you got involved in politics. As you said, your story is a fascinating story. I mean, for somebody that came from what you did to lead the biggest energy company in the nation. But what is it after all this time that keeps you going? Because at your position, it'd be easy for you to say, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to the House. What is it that keeps Don Blankenship going?
Probably the fact that the people I disagree with don't want me to keep going. So it's I'm motivated by the fact that people who have the wrong ideas and do the wrong things. It's a motivation to be able to make a difference. I think I made a difference in labor relations. I made a difference in the legislature in West Virginia. I made a difference in people's lives. They don't pay food tax anymore, and we have right to work, and the state has a surplus. We're not getting ready to borrow $5.5 billion to indebt the state to fund the teachers' pension fund. So I've made a huge difference. Unfortunately, when you're making a difference, that means you're sort of in the minority and you're out there by yourself. Otherwise, you're just going along with the crowd. And since I don't go along with the crowd, I've been successful at making a difference, and therefore I want to continue to do that.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is presented in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Whether you're replacing a roof, remodeling a kitchen, or replacing a bathroom, keep it safe, keep it legal. The Pinnacle Consultants, they can inspect your site, collect samples, perform lab analysis, and provide results within about a week. Testing all renovations for mold, asbestos, and lead is the law. Visit pinnaclecorp.net for Pinnacle Consultants, because what you don't know can hurt you. I'm going to close with this, Don. Why should someone vote for Don Blankenship for U.S. Senate?
Because if we don't vote for people like Don Blankenship, we're not going to have a country. The country can't survive as divided as it is. It can't survive spending $1 trillion a year more than it takes in. It can't survive trying to police the world. People can't survive with all this nonsense about men competing in women's sports and so forth. So if we don't fix those things, the country is certainly not going to be the superpower. And what we've done is we've done everything that George Washington told us not to do. We're entangled with China. We don't have separation of powers. We're not passing moral laws. We're passing immoral laws. So the people should vote for me because I will make a difference. I've proven that. So if you think you need a difference, then I'm the guy to vote for.
Don Blankenship, Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate. I appreciate you being here. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you. Thanks for being here, Don.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
9:21. We're back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
We need real conservatives in the House of Delegates. We need Mark Carter in District 57.
Hi, I am Mark Carter. As a conservative lawyer, I am a strong supporter of life, faith, and the Second Amendment.
Mark Carter was appointed to national offices by both President Donald Trump and President George W. Bush. Let's elect a new conservative Republican to the House.
I am Mark Carter, and I would appreciate your vote for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Mark Carter for West Virginia.
Hey, it's Sydney, and it's time to find new roads to savings during Chevy truck season. Ready for the truck that can handle any job? You need the new 2024 Chevy Silverado from Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Best-in-class power, durability, and technology, Thornhill has customized Silverado to fit your needs. During Chevy truck season, enjoy 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by at thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the road to total savings US 119 Chapmanville. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. Visit Thornhill for all details.
Hi, I'm David McCormick, owner of Omega Commercial Interiors. We'd like to thank you, West Virginia, for making us the #1 office furniture and commercial interiors company in West Virginia. Remember, when you're looking for quality office furniture and space planning for healthcare, corporate offices, or even a private office, call us and buy local. Omega Commercial Interiors. We're a proud West Virginia company. Visit us online at omegacommercialinteriors.com in Morgantown and Charleston.
I'm More Capito. West Virginia has one of the top 10 fastest growing economies in the country. As governor, we will take our state to the next level by continuing to grow jobs and opportunity. I've cut taxes, and I'll work to eliminate the state income tax for good. We'll give our young people the skills they need for college, the military, or the workforce, and I'll double down on energy production. Republican or independent, I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by More Capito for West Virginia.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Fresh Air. They'll change those heating and cooling unit air filters for your home, your retail or industrial business, restaurant, church, or whatever. They can custom build filters for you. They offer 24-hour emergency service. Visit freshairfilters.us or call 304-440-1104 for Fresh Air, because everyone deserves fresh air. Bob Yeager is a candidate for mayor of Dunbar. We're going to talk to him in a couple of moments. As you may imagine, when you have Don Blankenship on the show, I got some texts to get to. We'll get to those before we get to our next guest. Text says, I hope Don wins the Democrat primary, says a texter. Texter said, loved the line, my dog is bigger than his dog. Yeah, he says he's got a dog bigger than baby dog. And if he faces Jim Justice, I don't want to say it's a dog fight because I don't want the people from PETA, out here protesting the studio. But interesting line from Mr. Blankenship. Text says, Dave, not to quote Hank Hill, but I'll be danged. Don Blankenship actually sounded like a decent candidate today. Text says, too bad Don Blankenship is pretty much a coal baron villain in an old Western. He has said some things I agree with, says a texter. And a win for Don Blankenship today. Text says, great interview with Don Blankenship. Thank you so much. Bob Yeager, candidate for the office of Mayor of Dunbar. He joins us now. Mr. Yeager, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Tough to follow up Don Blankenship, is it not?
Absolutely.
You get a chance to hang out with Don and get to meet him in the green room?
Yes.
He's an interesting guy.
Yes.
He's an interesting guy. Give us a lowdown on Bob Yeager. Give us your bio.
Well, born and raised Dunbar, lived there my whole life. Graduated from Dunbar High School, went to the University of Charleston, got a degree in business administration. From there, I went to the South Charleston Police Department, where I worked for 26 and a half years before retiring and moving on to a job with the state. Raised my family there, still have two kids at home, still raising them there, and just love the city.
What is it about Dunbar because everybody's got pride in their community, and I talk about this on the show, but what is it that makes people love Dunbar so much? What are the positives, I guess you would say?
Well, we're a small community. A lot of people know people. Everybody tries to know their neighbors and whatnot and look out for them. But that's changed a little bit, and people are trying to get back to that, and that's one of the reasons I'm here.
Okay, and let's talk about some of the negatives. What are some of the negatives in Dunbar?
Well, right now, as far as the citizens go, we got a lot of people walking the streets, as a lot of cities do. A lot of crime, a lot of homeless and what I call thieves. There's a difference between homeless and thieves, but we got a lot of those issues. And right now we got a lot of problems with the city. And a lot of those, as people know this week, they're back in the news again, another lawsuit. Mm-hmm. It's costing the city a lot of money, and the citizens are just fed up with it.
Talk about the issues with the police department as best you can. I mean, you're somebody that's on city council, yes, and you've seen this. Your take on the whole thing.
Well, first of all, as my position on city council, I get very little information. The administration is not very forthcoming with what's going on with these situations. I find out about most of this stuff just like you do when I read it in the paper or hear it on the news. So that's one issue. where the city's not very transparent when it comes to these issues. But the other issue is these lawsuits. When this administration took office, me included on council, there were 4 or 5 lawsuits already pending. And I sat down and talked with the mayor, and I was like, hey, what are we going to do about this? And he didn't really have a plan. And here we are 3.5 years later. Now I think we're up to maybe 12 lawsuits that I'm aware of. And it just keeps mounting. And before I filed to run, I went back to the mayor, and still no plan. And citizens are just they're not going to accept that.
What are the numbers like now? Because I actually saw you in an interview on television this morning when you talked about you or the reporter, I'm not sure which one, but it was stated about the number of officers that are on suspension. I know of at least 1 or 2.
I believe there are 2 right now.
And then there's one that I think that was under investigation that quit or resigned. Is that right?
I believe it or not, I only know what you've heard on the news.
Okay.
I've gotten it from the same place you did. From what I understand, we are slotted for 16. We may be down to 12. And like you say, 1 has recently resigned under investigation and 2 are currently on suspension. But again, I got that from the same news you did.
It's hard enough to get police officers, people to want to do that job anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This isn't making it any easier to fill those spots.
So we talk about this. Again, we're talking with Bob Yeager, who's a candidate for mayor of Dunbar. We talk about these things with the issues with the police department. But other than that, what led to your decision to want to become mayor, to come off council and become mayor?
Well, to be flat honest with you, I wasn't going to do this yet. I was going to wait 4 more years. I've got a really good job where I'm at. I was going to stay there 4 more years. But I was getting a lot of pressure. So that's when, like I said, I went and talked to the mayor just recently before I filed and sat down and said, what's the plan? And I was told, well, there haven't been any criminal charges filed. There's some policy violations, but no criminal charges. I'm like, that doesn't matter. That doesn't make any sense. And then when the Friday before the filing date, when the federal judge issued that default order against the city for failing to respond to a lawsuit, that was the moment that now's the time. I can't put this off 4 more years. We might not have a city in 4 more years. Our insurance is going to go through the roof if we're going to be insurable at all. And if we lose our insurance, we lose so many city services, police, fire, and we can't do that. The city may not survive 4 more years.
Let's talk about the business climate of Dunbar. What if elected, what do you plan to do to try to get more businesses? Because that's the bottom line for any city. You want more businesses in, paying those B&O taxes and providing services for the residents and people that visit the town. What do you plan to do to attract businesses into town or to keep businesses that are already there, to keep them in town?
Well, the first thing we have to do is we got to change our image back. The people that live there, we know what a great place it is, but the outside world, with all the negative publicity going on right now, if you Google Dunbar, West Virginia, you're not going to see what a great place it is to live. You're going to see these lawsuits. And that's the first thing we got to change. We got to change that image. And then I believe that the future of Dunbar is very dependent upon how we take advantage of the opportunities the Shawnee Sports Complex is bringing. That thing is literally bringing tens of thousands of people through our town, and right now, we're not taking advantage of that. So we need to be able to attract those businesses in that can profit off of what's going on at Shawnee. And I truly believe that's where our future lies.
I've heard a lot of talk, people all over the valley, not just in Dunbar, talking about the need for hotels.
Yes.
And that's a need, I'm presuming, in Dunbar as well.
Hotels, restaurants. The one we have there now that has just been recently remodeled, just opened recently. So that's a plus. But yeah, we need hotels. We need service type industry.
What if you're out, if elected, or even as a council person, if you're out trying to sell Dunbar to people, either a potential business or residents to move there, or people to stay there, what do you use as a selling point for Dunbar?
Well, it's not my quote. It came years ago, but we are truly the hub of the valley. You can get to anywhere from Dunbar in just a few minutes. We're less than 10 minutes from Charleston, Southridge, 30 minutes from Barbersville, Huntington. It's a good central location in the valley.
As you've been out campaigning, how's the campaign gone? What do you hear from people?
People are upset. They're not happy with the way things are going, and they're ready for a change. They're looking for something new.
And what specifically do they come to you and say, hey, if you're mayor, I want you to do this? Or
roads, street repair, people running up and down their alleys at all hours of the day and night. They don't like to. You pull into a convenience store and you got to wait before you can go inside because the people hanging out on the parking lots. They don't feel safe. They don't feel comfortable getting out of their cars and walking into stores sometimes. They don't feel comfortable walking their dogs at night because of the people running the streets. Those are the things I'm hearing a lot of.
What experiences have you learned as a city council person that you think will bode well for you? Because sometimes this happens, Bob, in certain towns. Somebody's been on council and they think, well, I'm not saying this is you, but they'll say, well, I think I could be a mayor and I could do a better job because I've learned this, A, B, and C. Are there things that you've learned as a city councilman that you think would make you an effective mayor if you're elected? Yeah, and to even go back further before city council, a lot of things I learned from working for 26 and a half years in South Charleston. One of the things Dunbar is lacking right now is customer service. The city government is not focused on providing the service to the citizens. The public service is just another way of saying community service or customer service. And the citizens are our customers, and our employees' jobs are to take care of those citizens, and our jobs as city government is to take care of those employees. So we have to provide them with the good wages and good equipment so they can go out there and they can do the best job possible for the citizens. I don't think what I've learned on council is I don't think the citizens are getting what they deserve in Dunbar. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, you'll want to know Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match that can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today for more information. Do you have a way for people to contact you to learn more about you? Yeah, you can go to Facebook, Robert Bob Yeager for Mayor of Dunbar. Okay. Reach out to me there. And if you are elected, will you be obviously? I know you want to be in contact with the people, but what do you plan to do to make yourself available to the people? Well, I've already put phone numbers, email address, everything out there right now. Anybody can contact me with me any way they want, and then of course, social media and everything is. But I will always be there, knock on the door, and I'll always answer. Okay. So I'm there for them. Give me 30 seconds. We called it the final 30. Why should someone vote for Bob Yeager for mayor of Dunbar? Well, I've got the leadership skills needed to make the hard decisions that are going to be in the best interest of the citizens and the city. And secondly, they know what they've got, and people are ready for a change. And you can't keep sending the same people back in there and expecting something different. Nothing's going to change if we keep sending the same people back to City Hall, and I'm that change. So if you want to change in Dunbar, you need to vote Bob Yeager. All right. Bob, I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Hang out with me just 1 second here. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues, heart disease, diabetes, and more. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. It's a valuable resource for all. Discover the latest episodes on WVMetronews.com under the podcast menu and start your journey towards better health today. We got some big activities going on in the area this weekend. A couple of areas I want to focus on is Nitro, and another one is Alum Creek. We're going to talk about the Nitro events coming up in just a matter of moments, plus your phone calls and texts are welcome. And I've got text to get to. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Back after this from the Parmar Store Studio in the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
Republican Eric Nelson is the candidate for state senate that Kanawha County families can count on. Senator Eric Nelson has helped create thousands of good-paying jobs and voted to give West Virginians the largest tax cut in our state's history. Voting for Eric Nelson, you know what you get: better roads, more jobs, lower taxes, and the best education for our children. Eric Nelson supports West Virginia conservative values. Vote to re-elect Senator Eric Nelson. Paid for by the committee to elect Eric Nelson.
Conservative Patrick Morrissey had to work his way up, the son of a U.S. steelworker and a VA nurse. Now the liberal swamp attacks him because he fights for us. Chris Miller and More Capito are spending millions lying about Morrissey's conservative record. Did you know they are third-generation politicians? Who do you think they will fight for? Morrissey has defeated radical transgender policies, and he's fighting to keep men out of women's sports. Take it from female swimmer Riley Gaines.
This is an Attorney General who has been on the forefront of not just protecting women's sports, but really protecting women, protecting parental rights, the safeguarding of children. So thank you to Attorney General Morrissey for his dedication and perseverance.
The swamp attacks Morrissey because he protects our kids. Morrissey's endorsed by conservative groups, West Virginians for Life, the NRA, the West Virginia Coal Association, the Farm Bureau, and West Virginia sheriffs. Don't believe the swamp's lies. Morrissey's our proven conservative. Fighter, winner.
Paid for by Morrissey 2024.
Hey, it's Sydney, and it's time to find new roads to savings during Chevy truck season. Ready for the truck that can handle any job? You need the new 2024 Chevy Silverado from Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Best-in-class power, durability, and technology, Thornhill has customized Silverado to fit your needs. During Chevy truck season, enjoy 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by at thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the road to total savings US 119 Chapmanville. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. Visit Thornhill for all details.
23 minutes away from 10. Hollywood Jeff Petty is our producer today. You can tell by the Midnight Express theme that's playing as the bumper music there. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan. With more than $20 billion recovered, they believe that when you're injured, you deserve more. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Big happenings in the area over the next couple of days, including Nitro. It's May the 4th. And to Star Wars people, I guess that means something. I hate to say this, Gen X guy, I'm not a Star Wars guy. But anyway, the May 4th things are big across the country. I know a lot of towns and businesses are doing a lot of conjunction with May the 4th. Be with you. One of those is Nitro. Tim Arnott is the owner of Nitro Antique Mall and Third Floor Comics, and he's helping them to plan a big event in Nitro. Tim, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. May the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day, Comic-Con of sorts. You got all kinds of things going on, man.
We do, and what's crazy is, it's not just Nitro. Hurricane is also doing a May 4th Star Wars event, too. So it's like the perfect alignment of the stars came together for having on a May 4th showing up on a Saturday. Everyone's really been able to jump in and take part of this. At Nitro, we're going to do something fun. We're doing a mini Comic-Con. I've got like 20 comic and toy vendors that are going to come in and sell their Star Wars and other pop culture-related items. We're going to have a Lego building contest with a Star Wars theme. We're going to have cosplayers show up, and we're going to do a Funko Pop building contest as well.
All right, now I got to ask you, because Joe Stevens was hooking me up, my buddy in Nitro was hooking me up with some stuff to talk to you about. Funko
Pops.
Okay, what are Funko Pops, man?
They hit the market about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They have licensing that covers any kind of property you can think of. They're like a 3-inch bobblehead. And they have just taken off like a rocket. They've got a lot. The only problem is there's some characters that they don't have licensing to yet, so people would do customs. So we're having a contest to actually do your own custom Funko Pop.
Okay. It sounds interesting for sure. I just like saying Funko on the air.
Yeah.
So all this is happening Saturday. Now, it's going to be taking place primarily around the Nitro Living Memorial Park. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct.
And as you said, you got Star Wars costume contest. You got prizes there, and this Lego builds and the Funko thing. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a big time. Where did the idea? I mean, I know the calendar helped out with the May 4th thing, but where did the idea to do all of this come from?
The Star Wars fan base is huge, and I'm not sure exactly when they started the May 4th event as overall on a national basis, but we jumped onto it a few years ago. Just the play of words, May 4th, May the 4th be with you, was just a natural way to push Star Wars merchandise and the love of the movie franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of popped up. I mean, the original Star Wars movie came out in 1977, and this whole thing with May the 4th, I mean, it just kind of seemed like it came out of nowhere. But as you said, it is huge.
It is huge. And if you haven't seen the original Star Wars, at dark, we will be showing the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope, on a open screen in the park for free for everybody to come and watch.
It's kind of interesting. And again, I'm not really a Star Wars guy. Go ahead and turn in my Generation X card there. But I will say that what's interesting to me about the whole Star Wars movie franchise is the fact that that was just known as Star Wars for years, and then they came out with the sequels. But then suddenly the original Star Wars from '77 had another name added to it.
Yeah, I think they had to. The original idea when Lucas originally made the films was just Star Wars. He's going to make 3 films and be done and out. Then, of course, after the popularity hit, and 20 years later, they re-released them. Then they went back and told the pre-story. Then went back and told, after that hit, and then after Disney bought them out, they went back and told the post-story for it all. So really, it's a whole story of not Luke Skywalker, but of Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. I know I'm nerding out here, but I'm sorry. But,
it's all good, man. It's all good. You don't ask if you. I mean, you don't know if you don't ask. That's why I'm asking. It seemed to be interesting to me, and I didn't know that what you said that he originally planned to do 3. How many Star Wars movies have there been?
Oh gosh, there's 9 in the main continuum, basically.
Uh-huh.
Then you throw in. There's a couple. There's several offshoots. They did an offshoot with the story of Han Solo. They did an offshoot of the rebels that stole the plans for destroying the Death Star. Easily, there's probably 9, 10, 11 films.
Okay.
Plus a number of TV shows that Disney has put out.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big part of it. Again, we're talking with Tim Arnott about this big event that's going on in Nitro as part of the May the 4th. And you did mention that the city of Hurricane, in my part of the world, is going to be doing something tomorrow. I'm going to have Amanda Smith-Ramey from the city of Hurricane on to talk about what they are doing on Saturday. This is kind of like the perfect storm, as you said, because May the 4th became a big thing over the last couple of years. And the fact that it's on a Saturday, you can even add more to it, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said, it is a perfect opportunity. Hopefully the weather will hold out for us. We're getting some iffy reports in.
Yeah.
So if the weather holds out, I think it's going to be a great weekend for any Star Wars fan or anyone that has the slight interest in Star Wars whatsoever.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. If you're planning a project this spring, please remember to try your best to shop locally. They're also hiring. Stop by any location for details. Visit GeneralHardwareWV.com. I want to go back to the free movie showing. Now, that is just pretty much open to anybody. I mean, anybody can just show up and watch the movie. And where is that going to be set up?
That's going to be at Nitro Living Memorial Park as well. Bring your chair. I believe the Regal Cinema in Nitro is going to supply some free popcorn for everybody. So bring a chair, kick back, and enjoy the movie. As long as the weather holds out, I think we'll all have a great time watching a classic.
Sounds like it. Tim, is there a easy place online where people can go and see all the activities that you've also got planned?
Sure, they can check our store out at Nitro Antique Mall on Facebook or Third Floor Comics on Facebook. We have all the itinerary on there.
All right. Tim, I appreciate it. Sounds like it's going to be a great time in Nitro throughout the day and into the evening hours. Hopefully the weather will hold out. We'll work with our good buddy Spencer Atkins on that, see if we can make that happen. Tim, I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, it is 16 minutes away from 10. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. It's all happening in Nitro this weekend. And again, the city of Hurricane also doing things in association with that. It's May the 4th thing. There's 2 things, Jeff, that you can count on when it comes to the month of May in the world of social media. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, and the whole Justin Timberlake, one of the NSYNC guys. I don't know who the guy is that has the "it's going to be May" type thing. You know what I'm talking about, Jeff?
A little bit. Not. I do know about the Justin Timberlake thing. I've seen the memes about it, and this May the 4th, all that. Also, the Indy 500 and everything in Memorial Day later this month. So that will also be popping up.
Not off the top of my head. No, I can look into it though. Okay, we're having a conversation here with this.
There's 2 Jeffs.
Jeff Jenkins, how long have you been in radio? I love it. Go ahead.
How you doing, Dave?
That's fine, Jeff.
I'm sorry.
Just
sorry.
Come on in, man.
I'm sorry. I thought you were in a break. I totally apologize.
No, that's fine. I'm over here talking to Hollywood Jeff Petty, and Jeff Jenkins from the newsroom sticks his head in here and just starts talking to me. I was like, you do realize I'm on the air here, right?
Sorry about that.
It's all right. It's all right.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah. How many years have you been doing radio, Jeff? A few.
Yeah.
A few. Well, while you're here, what's going on in the world of news? May as well make yourself useful. What's going on?
Well, we're going to run a story today. I just got finished talking to Appalachian Power Company. So they've got their preliminary storm damage totals from the storm from earlier this month. So it's their price tag, Appalachian's price tag, is $30 million. $30 million for the storm response and cleanup in West Virginia.
Wow.
$30 million. So, and we know how Appalachian Power recovers their costs. They recover it through the ratepayers, the customers. So they have some preliminary discussions with the PSC, and they are going to file for that recovery over a several-year period. Not all at once. So that's what the company is saying right now. So we're working on a story about that.
All right.
So there you go.
There you go. Now this has been officially a news call.
Legitimize my interruption.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Jeff Jenkins, West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. Take a few moments to be inspired and to join the collective effort in making a difference. Not just a story, it's a movement of hope, inclusivity, and triumph, reminding us all that every individual deserves a chance to shine in West Virginia and beyond. Huntington, truly making a difference right here at home. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. I think we have a phone call. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on the air. Hello? Okay, they're not on the air. We lost them. Sorry about that. We had a caller, and apparently he or she hung up. So,
real quick, he did tell me his name was Barry Curry. I guess he hung up the phone. I thought he wanted to be on the air. It was something about in Gasaway, there is another Star Wars May the 4th festival. So
okay, in the town of Gasaway. All right.
Yep.
Well, duly noted. Text says, Bob Yeager is the only man who can change Dunbar. I'm so excited to see all the positive changes he can do as a lifelong resident, says the texter. Texter says, and I read this during the break, and I really don't know what it means. It's a conversation, Dave Allen, get me someone controversial. Producer, controversial. I have no idea what that text means. Text says, Dave, if I lived in Dunbar, I'd vote for this guy. Sounds like he gets it, especially about the police servant. Where I live, they act like they're doing you a favor. They forget they work for the citizens and not vice versa, says a texter. The Dave Allen Show at 580 Live brought to you in part by Husson's Pizza. This month at your favorite Husson's. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of cinnamon bites with icing, only $20.99 at Husson's. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
Our children and families deserve leaders on the Kanawha County Board of Education, and Kate White is a leader that our families can trust. Kate White fights for safer schools for our kids and the best education for our children and teachers in Kanawha County. Kate White is a wife, a mother, and a leader in our community. Kate White understands our families and will deliver a world-class education for all of us. Let's vote for better education and a brighter future in Kanawha County. Let's vote for Kate White for Kanawha County Board of Education. Paid for by the committee to elect Kate White for school board.
Dwayne Duncan is a Republican running for Kanawha County Commission. We know that we can trust Republican Dwayne Duncan to deliver for Kanawha County families. Dwayne Duncan wants lower taxes, more jobs, and will fight the crime problem in Kanawha County. Dwayne Duncan is a Republican and proven job creator. Taxes are too high for Kanawha County. Let's vote to keep more of our hard-earned money. Let's vote for Republican Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Paid for by Dwayne Duncan for Kanawha County Commission. Tori Takubo, Treasurer.
Hey, it's Sydney, and it's time to find new roads to savings during Chevy truck season. Ready for the truck that can handle any job? You need the new 2024 Chevy Silverado from Thornhill GM Superstore on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Best-in-class power, durability, and technology, Thornhill has customized Silverado to fit your needs. During Chevy truck season, enjoy 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers, or $5,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Thornhill GM Superstore. Together, let's drive. Click or come by at ThornhillGMSuperstore.com or on the road to total savings US 119 Chapmanville. Must qualify for all offers through GM Financial. Visit Thornhill for all details.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay. Of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every leaf filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's It's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/build to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/build and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Birds a road win last night over the High Point Rockers. They'll wrap up that series tonight before returning home tomorrow night to take on Gastonia. Great weekend at the ballpark this weekend. Friday night, the first 1,000 fans through the gate at Gomart Ballpark will get a Mother's Day belt bag. Saturday is Healthcare Heroes Night. Healthcare workers just show your ID at the gate for a free ticket, plus Mega Blast fireworks after the game. Sunday is Family Fun Day. For tickets, promotions, merchandise, and more, visit DirtyBirdsBaseball.com. Hollywood Jeff Petty is our producer today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Because you need something else to do over the next couple of days, the Alum Creek Alliance is hosting a Mother's Day Craft and Vendors Show at the Washington District Community Center on Sandplant Road this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Chrissy Ball is with the Alliance, and she joins us now. Chrissy, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Last time you were on the show, you were promoting an event that, if I'm correct, had to be postponed because of snow. Certainly not going to be the case with your event this Saturday.
No, sir. No, it seems like it's going to be a great day. All the vendors are inside. We are also having hot dogs and barbecue sandwiches. And all vendors, these are not yard sale vendors. So these are upscale vendors, and each vendor sells a different item or product. We have between 18 to 20. So, yeah, we think it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll also be doing some door prizes. In Alum Creek Alliance, we'll have a booth set up for T-shirts you can buy.
And admission is free. Is that right?
Yeah, free admission.
Now, are you still in need of vendors? I mean, are you still accepting vendors?
No, we're not. Well, actually, we had one that backed out, but we have a replacement for that one. So, yeah, we're completely booked at this point.
And I want to talk about the Alum Creek Alliance. As I said, I have had you on the show in the past talking about this group. Tell me about this group, the Alum Creek Alliance.
Yeah, so we're a nonprofit organization. We obviously represent Alum Creek as a community, but we do a lot of things for the community. Right now, well, you can go to alumcreekalliance.org, which is our new website that we now have up and running. And, for example, we are giving away 3 scholarships to local graduating high school seniors. And you can fill out applications online. The last day to do that is May 10th, and we'll be drawing for that on June 30th, or selecting the applicant on June 30th. But, yeah, you can go on there and take a look at our organization and what we do. We are looking for new members also to come on board with us. But, yeah, we do a lot of community events. We recently had a paint class, which was a lot of fun. And, like I said, the scholarships are big. We're looking forward to doing those.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Again, Chrissy Ball is with the Alum Creek Alliance. And your event, indoors, outdoors? It's in the community center?
Yeah, it is indoor. We are having some, you can go to Alum Creek Alliance on the Facebook page and follow us, because we also have future events coming up. We have a band planning in August. We have a blood drive coming up. So we have different things, but you can go to our Facebook page to look at our events to keep up with what we have going on. This summer and spring, we do plan on doing some outdoor things as well.
Well, it sounds like you guys got a lot going on. Again, I follow you on social media, and I see what you have. And I have information about Saturday's event posted on my social media, so you may want to go check that out. Again, give us all of the facts of the figures, the time, the place. Go ahead and close us out.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So this Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Washington District Community Center, 1313 Sandplant Road.
All right. Chrissy, I appreciate you being here. Best of luck. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well. 9:55. Again, it's the Alum Creek Alliance and their Mother's Day Craft and Vendors Show, Saturday 10 to 4 at the Washington District Community Center. That's just off Corridor G, 1313 Sandplant Road, South Charleston. So stop by and check that out. Hey, if you haven't done it already, make sure you download the all-new Metro News TV app. Great way to enjoy your favorite Metro News programs like Talk Line, Sports Line, Three Guys Before the Game, and more. Metro News TV app available for Apple TV, iOS, Android, Roku, Amazon. Metro News for your ears and and for your eyes with the Metro News TV app. Text of Dave Allen Show, 580 Live, a service of Fruth Pharmacy. Find the perfect over-the-counter hearing aid at Fruth with NuvoMed hearing aids, plus they make it easier to transfer your prescription services to them. And phone calls to the show, a service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. When shopping at your Biggly Piggly Wiggly, be sure to join their loyalty program. Save big at the gas pumps and throughout the store with their electronic coupons and free gifts on Fridays just for stopping by from farm to table. Biggly Piggly Wiggly, the best kept secret in Charleston. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline again, 304-345-5858. Fruth Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Early voting continues today, day 2 in the state. Putnam County early voting happening at Valley Park at the Conference Center and on the second floor of the courthouse in Winfield. Kanawha, you can early vote at the Voters Building on Courier Street, the Girl Scouts of the Black Diamond Council on West Washington, the Nitro Police Department, Marmet City Hall, the Elkview Community Center, the Sissonville Library, City Hall in St. Albans, the Belltown Hall, and the Cross Lanes attachment of the Kanawha County Sheriff's Office. So get out there and vote. Make your voice heard. Text says, Dave, conservatives want to do away with police and fire unions to make it easier to get rid of bad cops and save money. Let me reread. Dave, conservatives want to do away with police and fire. The unions, says the texter. They want to get rid of the unions. Gotcha. Okay. Want to make sure I understood that. Coming up on Hoppy Kirchville, 10:06 from the Encova Insurance Studios in the Dale Miller Building in Morgantown. Attorney General and candidate for governor Patrick Morrissey is going to be on. Now, he's on as a candidate, but he's also on his role as AG, because he is going to be talking about this transgender case and where he stands on that. Also, even though it's nowhere near here, I've been following this with Brad and Hoppy, this whole thing with these county commissioners in Jefferson County, where basically you had 2 of them that just decided because they had a problem with a policy not to show up for work, not to show up for meetings. Well, they've been removed from office, and we're going to get the latest on that situation coming up on Talkline, plus West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission Chancellor Dr. Sarah Armstrong Tucker, and another candidate for governor, Chris Miller, Republican candidate for governor Chris Miller, will be on the show with Hoppy coming up at 10:06 this morning. On this show tomorrow, Hannah Gardner from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association with this week's Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week. Of course, they're having their big Tucks and Tails event. Love the name. I love this name. It's the Down and Derby, Jeff, Down and Derby, in conjunction with the Kentucky Derby. That's happening Saturday night. Capitol Market starts at 6 o'clock. Hannah and I will talk about that in detail coming up tomorrow. Plus, current delegate and candidate for re-election to the House, Kathy Hess-Krause, will be stopping by. More on the May 4th events in Hurricane with Amanda Smith-Ramey. And we're going to talk some things with autism. Autism Awareness Month, I think, is this month, And Jill Scarborough, who's kind of an expert in that field, is going to join us to talk about that coming up on tomorrow's show. And I will say this, and I'll close with this. I've been saying this since January. If you are a candidate for office and you want on the show, tomorrow's out. Most of next week is out, so there's only a couple of days left, and I booked about 6 candidates yesterday. So if you're a candidate for office and you've not been on since the filing period ended, you get one shot, again, for local races. You got to email me. You got to do it like yesterday. Dave.Allen@WVRadio.com. Dave.Allen@WVRadio.com. My thanks to Don Blankenship for being on the show today. Bob Yeager, candidate for mayor of Dunbar. Chrissy Bailey from the Alum Creek Alliance. And Tim Arnott from Nitro, with all the events going on there with May the 4th. This coming Saturday. My producer was Hollywood Jeff Petty. Thank you so much, Hoppy. And the crew coming up with Talkline at 10:06. I will see you tomorrow morning to do it all again. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston, 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.